Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are unpacking a silent, almost invisible threat that's probably lurking right beneath the surface of your everyday online interactions. I'm talking about a vulnerability so fundamental, it can literally bypass your most complex, carefully crafted passwords. Sounds kind of like science fiction, right? Well, actually, it's a very real digital reality. My goal today isn't to scare you, but to empower you with the exact knowledge you need to lock down your digital life. Okay, let's dive into this, because you might be wondering, can your Instagram actually be hacked without a password or even an OTP? The terrifying reality here is yes, absolutely. An attacker can silently access your account without triggering a single notification, without knowing your password, and without ever asking for a one-time password. They just slip right in, completely unnoticed. Chilling thought, isn't it?
But hey, don't panic. We've got a roadmap to fix this. In this explainer, we'll cover, first, hacking without a password. Second, the session ID secret. Third, the 4 attack methods. Fourth, your personal security checklist. And fifth, an ethical hacking bootcamp if you want to take things further. Let's get to it.
All right, section 1, hacking without a password. Right off the bat, I want to establish a crucial baseline here. Everything we're discussing today is strictly for educational purposes. We're pulling back the curtain on these techniques solely to help you protect your own accounts and the people you care about. We're here to build digital shields, not weapons. Okay, we need to debunk the ultimate cybersecurity myth right now. Look, we've all been told a million times to make our passwords longer, throw in some special characters, and for the love of God, never use password 123. And while that's solid advice, for sure, the sobering reality is that through a technique called session hijacking, an attacker doesn't actually need your password at all. Once they hijack your session, they essentially assume your identity. Instagram, or really any server, looks at the attacker and just treats them as a legitimate user. It's basically an automatic VIP pass, completely bypassing the front door. So moving to section 2, the session ID secret. To really understand how they bypass that front door, it all comes down to something very specific that's running in the background of your browser right at this exact moment. Now, what's really interesting about this is the session token itself, sometimes called the session ID. Think of it like a temporary digital VIP wristband. When you log into Instagram, the server checks your password once, says, okay, cool, you are who you say you are, and hands your browser this unique temporary string of characters. This token gets stored in your browser's cookies. From that moment on, you don't have to re-enter your password for every single photo you like or comment you post. Your browser just flashes this digital wristband to the server. But, and here's the kicker, if a hacker steals this wristband, they can trick the bouncer into letting him in without ever knowing your actual login details. Now, a super common question that comes up here is, well, can't a hacker just use some computer program to guess my session ID? The answer to that is an absolute no. Modern session IDs are cryptographically random. It is practically impossible to guess them, which, is a massive relief. But it leads us to a pretty dangerous truth. Because attackers cannot guess these tokens, they have to steal them. And to steal them, they rely entirely on our mistakes or specific vulnerable situations that expose our data. Which brings us to section 3, the 4 attack methods. We are going to look at the exact 4 everyday situations where this digital VIP wristband gets snatched right from unsuspecting users. Pay close attention to these. Threat number 1, public Wi-Fi. We all love free Wi-Fi at coffee shops or airports, right? But unsecured networks are incredibly risky. If a network isn't properly encrypted, the data traveling between your device and the router can just be captured. Attackers using standard network monitoring tools can literally pluck your data packets right out of thin air. So if you're using sensitive apps on these networks, your session token might be traveling in a totally readable format, just waiting to be snatched up. This second method is cross-site scripting, or XSS for short. Basically, this happens when there's a vulnerability on a completely normal website you're visiting. Hackers can inject malicious scripts into the code of that vulnerable site. So when your browser loads the page, it unwittingly loads the hacker's hidden script too. That script then reaches into your browser, quietly grabs your cookies, including that precious session token, and sends it straight to the hacker. And the scariest part? All of this happens silently in the background without you ever having a clue. And this brilliantly illustrates our third threat, the man-in-the-middle attack. We often just assume our data travels in a straight, secure line right to the server. But if the website's SSL, that secure encryption protocol, is poorly implemented, an attacker can position themselves right in the middle of that connection.
They act as a secret middleman. They intercept your data as it flows back and forth, grabbing your session data before passing it along so you don't even suspect a thing is wrong. The fourth and final method involves malware and info stealers. This is malicious software that's actually infected your device. See, some of these programs are specifically designed to hunt for browser cookies. Once they find your session tokens, they package them up and send them remotely to the attacker. What makes this one so incredibly dangerous is that the attacker doesn't even need to be on the same Wi-Fi network as you. They could literally be on the other side of the world, just quietly harvesting your sessions. All right, Section 4, your security checklist. We've looked at the terrifying realities of the threat, but now it is time to take back control with an actionable defense protocol. These are the steps you can take right now, today, to lock down your digital life against session hijacking. Here is your vital defense checklist. Step 1. Whenever you're on public Wi-Fi, you absolutely must use a VPN. A virtual private network encrypts your data, rendering it totally unreadable to anyone trying to snoop on the network. Step 2. Enable two-factor authentication on Instagram. Now, while it doesn't stop session hijacking directly, it's an absolutely critical layer of overall defense. Step 3. Go into your Instagram settings and regularly check the Where You're Logged In section. If you see a device or a location you don't recognize, boot it off immediately. And Step 4. Be ruthless about your browser extensions. Only install trusted ones and never grant unnecessary permissions, because rogue extensions can easily steal cookies. Combining these steps drastically reduces your attack surface. So, the crucial point is this. You have to stop leaving these long sessions active. You must destroy the tokens that hackers want to steal. And honestly, the easiest way to do that is simply logging out. These are what we call the golden logout rules. If you log into your account on a friend's computer, log out immediately when you're done. Don't think, oh, I'll just do it later. If you're sending your laptop for repairs or handing it to a colleague, log out of everything. Sure, it's your system, but active sessions can be accessed by anyone holding the device. And finally, don't leave your personal system logged into Instagram for months at a time. Long sessions equal high risk. Regularly logging out and back in is a healthy digital habit that instantly kills those old, potentially vulnerable session tokens. Moving on to Section 5, Ethical Hacking Bootcamp. Now, I know a lot of you are fascinated by this stuff, and you're asking how to learn these concepts more deeply. Free platforms are great for overviews, sure, but to truly master these skills practically and properly, you really need a structured environment. That's exactly where the source of today's insights, Wiz CubeTech, comes in with their AI-powered Ethical Hacking Bootcamp. This is an intensive 8-week program that starts from absolute zero. Seriously, no prerequisites required. You'll learn networking, Linux, web hacking, and modern AI techniques step by step. But the real game changer here is the massive real-world value, because it actually includes a 4-week internship. This directly solves that dreaded no experience problem that freshers face in the job market. You get real projects, an industry-recognized certificate, and hands-on labs. It's not just an internship, it's literally the starting point for a serious career in cybersecurity. Finally, let's wrap up with some final thoughts. As we bring this explainer to a close, let's just quickly summarize the critical importance of what we've covered today. Session hijacking is silent, it is highly effective, and it bypasses the very passwords we rely on for our safety. But it is not an invincible threat. I want to leave you with this really powerful quote from our source. Cybersecurity is not just for hackers, it is your responsibility. You have the tools and the knowledge now. Take control of your digital identity. Form those healthy logout habits, use a VPN, and just stay vigilant. And I challenge you, think about your friends and family who carelessly use public Wi-Fi every single day without a second thought. Share this guide with them before their session becomes someone else's playground. The digital world is vast and complex, but are you going to be a victim of it or the master of your own digital security?